Hey there, and welcome to Week 10 Boom Bust Fantasy Football Show. We're going to break down some booms and busts at each position for this week's matchups. Now, what is a boom and what is a bust? It's whether a player exceeds or falls short of their general expectations for the week, based on most websites' weekly rankings. Clear as mud? Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, cool. What do you say we get it rolling here, Kyle?
Yeah, let's do it. And let's start on the boom side with Travis Etienne. He's actually been playing really, really well lately. I was down on him coming into the season. He's been pretty good most of the year. He had a couple down games. Just had a good game against Vegas. They play Houston this week, who already is not great against the run. I mean, Denver just had a good rushing day against them. But also, Houston's going to be, or did I say Houston was really good against them? Denver was really good against them.
That's what you said.
Okay. For some reason in my head, that sounded backwards. It was really good. Denver had a good day against them. And now this week they're going to be without Stroud. I think Jacksonville could end up with a lead and nursing that lead and lean on the run game, especially since Jacksonville doesn't have a whole lot going on in the wide receiver room right now.
Lots of injuries.
ETJ, Travis Hunter, both out. Just traded for Jacoby Myers. Not a lot going on there. So I think they're really going to lean on the run here. And I think that leads to a really nice day for Etienne.
Yeah, I think Etienne was kind of written off at the beginning of this year. I mean, honestly, he started getting written off last year, right? And then they brought in Tootin and everything, and everyone was worried about that. Tootin hasn't really he hasn't challenged Etienne for the job, and Etienne's had a decent season so far, and they're giving him the rock. He had 22 carries last game to Tootin's 9 carries. The good thing I like about Etienne too is he's a receiving back. He had 5 for 5 on receiving last game, so that's a good weapon. Even if they do struggle to run the ball a little bit against this Houston defense, they'll at least throw him the ball, and that's some easy points in PPR format. So I like Etienne, again, an underrated player this season, and I think he could have a good week this week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alrighty, who's your next one?
Now we're going to move over to the bust side. And we're going to start with Jacory Croskey-Merritt. This guy has been on the struggle bus.
Yep.
And a lot of the reason for that is because they get in these games with these high-scoring teams, and he's not a receiving back, so he gets game scripted out.
Yep.
So you look against Dallas, Kansas City, Seattle. These are high-scoring teams. He just doesn't get to run the ball because they're always throwing from behind, right? And now they play Detroit with no Jaden Daniels. They're definitely going to be behind. And so Detroit's going to score a lot of points. He's going to get game scripted out again. This is not a temper expectation situation. This is you cannot start this guy at all this week.
Yeah, I mean, not only are they playing Detroit, but they're playing in Detroit. So that's going to be even worse. I don't see them getting into scoring position much, which is the only way that Bill can save his day, essentially, right?
Yeah.
In the weeks that he does not score a touchdown, he does not get double-digit scoring. In fact, the only way he does get double-digit scoring is if he gets touchdowns. So he's a very touchdown-dependent player. He hasn't scored in the last 4 weeks. It's been bad. It's been like 5 points and below. So I'm not trusting this guy. We thought it was going to get better with Jaden Daniels coming back. Well, that was short-lived. It didn't get better when he came back, first of all. And then it was short-lived. So Marcus Mariota coming in, I do not trust Croskey-Merritt. He went from the hype train to that struggle bus you mentioned, and it's pretty sad downfall here. So everyone who spent a lot of fab on this guy, sorry.
Well, and just quick clarification, they are playing in Washington, not in Detroit. But
they are. Sorry.
It's not going to make a difference.
You right. I read that wrong. So they are not playing in Detroit. But either way, it's going to suck for them.
Either way, it's going to be a rough day at the office.
I'm starting Gibbs in any DFS matchup. I'm starting pretty much all the Detroit players.
You're starting all the Lions this week.
Yeah. For sure. Washington's been bad.
Yeah. All right, so let's do another bust, and we're going to do Breece Hall. And, if anybody watches Wall Street, they know I've been saying buy Breece Hall, buy Breece Hall. It's not for this week because he's playing Cleveland this week, and that is the worst matchup for running backs in the league, easily.
Yep.
And so after this week, he's got a great schedule the rest of the way, but man, you got to temper those expectations this week. I do worry a little bit with them trading off all of their best defenders at the trade deadline about game script here and them throwing the ball more than running anyways, not to mention the bad matchup. So, yeah, Breece Hall is – I think you're looking at a Jacory Croskey-Merritt type of performance this week out of Breece Hall.
Yeah, I agree with that, actually. I think they're gonna be quite the same. Cleveland's just that defense has been unbelievable. I didn't see that coming this year. I don't think anyone really saw how dominant they were going to be. I don't think anyone saw that coming. They have shut down running backs, and this offense, this team, not great. This is going to be a gross game because as the Jets just shipped off a lot of their defense, but Cleveland doesn't have much of an offense, so it's going to just be a very disgusting game to watch. I am not going to be tuning in for it because it's going to be boring. There's probably not going to be a lot of scoring, and so yeah, I'm avoiding Breece Hall. But like you said, after this, his schedule is really good. So maybe right after this game, you might go try to trade for him. I know that's a different show we do, but he just had a blow up game against Cincinnati. Probably not the time you want to buy him, but wait till right after this Cleveland game, go try to snag him.
Yeah, I think it'll give you a small window there. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, back over to the boom column. If I was smart, I'd have done this right after JCM because we were talking about that game already.
Mm-hmm.
I already had it in my head that I was going another bust first, but Jamo Williams, I think he has another boom week this week. He went off last week against Minnesota, who is traditionally not a great wide receiver matchup. Had a really good game. Washington, one of the easiest teams in the league to throw on. I could see them trying to keep him going, keep him involved because they're going to need him down the stretch as they try to get to the playoffs. So I love Jameson Williams this week. He is, definitely a boom or bust type of player, but I think this week you can bet on a boom.
Yeah, he is definition boomer bust. He's very frustrating, kind of like a Quentin Johnson. But when he booms, he booms. He can win you the week.
Yep.
We've already mentioned how bad Washington's defense is. That's kind of all you need to know. I agree. I think they need to get him working more consistently and not being that boom bust type player as they get deeper into the season here. And this might just be that kind of opportunity to get him going like that. So, yeah, I see this as a boom opportunity.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely. Like we said before, start all your lines this week, even the inconsistent one.
It just feels that way. You know what I mean? It just feels that way.
Well, even like bonus nugget, I think we see a bounce back week from Monty too. So do with that what you will.
I agree.
Okay, so we're going to do another boom, and it's going to be Kyle Monangai. This guy killed it last week. Granted, it was against Cincinnati, but we saw what he can do with a full workload. New York Giants are not much worse of a matchup for him. I don't think they're expecting Swift to be back this week. So I think we're going to see more of the same. So keep Monangai in your lineups.
Yeah, I don't know what Swift's status is going to be this week. I think he's back to questionable right now, but they really have no reason to rush him back. So I kind of don't see them rushing him back and taking any chance on that groin injury because Monangai's holding down the fort. He's doing fine. Probably actually better than Swift if we're being honest. So I think he's doing fine there. I don't see them rushing back to play against the Giants. So I think you're safe with Monangai here. It's a great matchup, and he's crushing it.
Like you say, it's against the Giants, but how often do people come back from a groin injury in 1 week? Not many.
Mm-mm.
But the chances of re-injury coming back too soon are also very high with that type of injury.
Yep.
So I think they let him sit out another week. And so, yeah, I'm loving Monangai in my lineups.
Yep.
All right. Now we're going to swing over and hit Bucky Irving. It breaks my heart putting him in the bust column, but here we are.
Sad day.
He's been out all these weeks. Everybody's been waiting for him to come back. Now he's supposed to come back, and he's playing New England, who nobody's having success. They're right up there with Cleveland as far as running back matchups go. The horrible matchup. So, they could work him back in slowly. On top of that, you worry about the first game back after a long injury, but then you throw that matchup in there too. Like, you're probably going to start him just because you've been waiting all this time.
And you probably don't have better options than Bucky Irving.
You probably don't have better options, but you're definitely going to want to temper those expectations this week.
Yeah, my saving grace for running backs against tough running matchups is their receiving abilities. Bucky does have some good receiving abilities, and he's very effective, like when he gets it. But again, it's his first week back here, so we don't know what that workload's going to be. And Rachaad White has been doing fine also in the receiving area. So yeah, I think this is definitely, like we said, you're starting Bucky because you have Bucky. You've been waiting for Bucky. You probably don't have many other options, especially with the buys and stuff this week and the injuries that have been happening. So you're probably sticking him in your lineup, but just don't get overly excited about it. And when he doesn't do good, if he doesn't do good, then just be like, saw that coming, So
Yep.
he's not going to be the typical Bucky Irving outing that you typically get out of him.
Yep, absolutely. All right, we're going to do our last bust.
Ooh, that means we're going to end on good news. All right, give me the bust.
I know this came up in weekly kickoff this week a lot with Chris Olave.
Yep.
Everybody thinks, oh, he's the only target there now. So he's instantly, his value goes up after the Rashid Shaheed trade. First of all, I disagree with that completely, and I'll tell you why. And then second of all, this week against Carolina is playing really good defense lately.
Carolina of all teams.
So that matchup is not great. But Chris Olave losing Rashid Shaheed, losing a really good second receiver across from him, their number 2 target now in the passing game is going to be Juwan Johnson, who is an average tight end. All right. The running game is ineffective with Kamara. He's just not been playing well. All they have to do is double team Olave, and they shut that whole offense down.
Agreed.
Not to mention the QB play is not great with Shuck either. So there's a lot of red flags here with Olave this week. So this is a week like I would try to sit Olave if you have any other options.
Yeah, there's this whole offense is a red flag. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of gross. I'm avoiding most, if not all, players in this offense. I think if anyone actually was helped by the Shaheed trade, it's probably Juwan Johnson, just so he can kind of work his way back into being getting more targets again, like he was at the beginning of the season. But Olave, it's my classic quality versus quantity when it comes to targets. And yes, his quantity may go up as Shuck kind of leans on him as the top wide receiver, but the quality is going to go way down. And I'm not Nostradamus or any sort of psychic, but if I was putting money on it, I could see Chris Olave getting hurt pretty soon, which is pretty typical for him too. But at the usage he might be getting, and then he might get frustrated. I'm just saying an injury could happen here to Olave. I know that's kind of out there and not really on topic right now. I'm just saying I'm worried about Olave.
But it wouldn't.
I'm just saying I don't feel good about Olave. Whereas, like you said on our weekly kickoff this week, everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, Olave!" Essentially, they were like Olave to the moon, because he's the guy there now. And it's like, I disagree with that completely, and you do too. I think that this is a bad thing for him, not a good thing.
Yep, I 100% agree. All right.
Good news finally.
Well, our last boom, especially coming from me, is going to shock a lot of people.
Yes, it is.
Because I've declared so many times how over Kyle Pitts I am. But I like him this week. They finally got Mooney back, but he's not playing well. They play against Indianapolis, who did address the cornerback position at the trade deadline. But that's not really going to improve how they play against tight ends, which is poorly. So, if anything, I see, maybe little Sauce Gardner on London
Yep.
action, but
Same.
I think they're still going to struggle against those tight ends, and Kyle Pitts gives him that number 2 target. And I think, he's had a really good season for Kyle Pitts. It's been a really good season.
Sad but true. Sad but true.
So, I think this is a matchup where they can exploit that mismatch with Pitts. And I think
I agree here that I think Sauce is going to be all over London, and I think that kind of funnels targets over to Kyle Pitts more than usual.
Yeah.
It just kind of changes the whole dynamic there. Like you said, they're already poor at covering tight ends, but now they have a reason to funnel those targets to Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
And so,
Indy's going to score points.
Yeah.
So Atlanta's going to have to throw the ball.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to be able to get it to London. So, yeah, I think you're right. I think Pitts is a funnel this week, man.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's got big potential for a breakout game here. So,
yep.
I never thought I'd say that about Kyle Pitts.
Neither did I, but here we are. This welcome to Fantasy Football 2025.
Bad day, right? All right, guys, that's going to do it for all our booms and busts for week 10. Check your lineups, get them set, and good luck this week.
Yep, good luck.